What's happening?
Questions for Chris? Brian, right here in the front.
Hey, Chris, I think, for your abilities, Game 4 wasn't great, and probably the first half of Game 5 wasn't great. And that comeback, you played really well in that fourth quarter. Did anything sort of you noticed differently that you could take advantage of tomorrow, or was it just shots started falling again?
I don't know. I sort of gauge things off wins and losses as far as me. You know what I mean? It ain't necessarily how many points, assists, or whatnot. Obviously, turnovers are something I try to keep down, but just try to be aggressive. Obviously, making shots help, but being aggressive on both ends, not just offensively, but defensively too.
Gina in the second row.
Hey, Chris, we know that you can't give up now on your shoes. That's even something some fans have kind of gravitated toward or caught on to just for these last couple of games. Just how much are you leaning into that motto even more just right now, just given what this team is facing?
Yeah, throughout this entire playoff run, this is our first elimination game. You know what I mean? So it's for real. You know what I mean? It's no looking back now. We got to come out, be ready to play, and it's either win or go home.
How have you seen your teammates kind of respond in that same way? Just that this is kind of a new thing for you guys?
I think everybody's just been talking about embracing it. Coaches said all season long, everything you want is on the other side of hard, and it doesn't get any harder than this. So we know that this is a must-win game for us, and nothing more than that. Now we got to hoop.
Lisa?
Chris, seems like every time Chris Middleton, if you defense him, he kind of like take advantage of the heights and do the isolation. So for the next game, what is strategy like? What do you need from your teammates if you play the one-on-one with him again?
Just keep making them be tough shots. You know what I mean? If you make it, it's going to be tough. So I think they went damn near the whole third quarter without missing a shot. So what they say, good offense beats good defense any day. But at some point, we got to make a miss, and I think that's what we're going to try to do in Game 6.
Over here on the left side in the back.
In the first two games when you won, you were taking almost 43 pointers a game as a team. The last few games, it's been a lot lower than that. Game 5, you were even below 20. You and Devin are two of the great mid-range scorers in the league, but do you think you need to extend your range back a little more to maximize those opportunities?
I think we just got to figure out a way to generate more threes. If that's penetrating, it doesn't just have to be me and Devin. That's the way we done played all season long, is penetrating the gaps, finding Kale, Cam, Jay, all the different guys on our team for threes. And obviously, when you lose a game and you look at it, you analyze, you're like, oh, they should have shot more threes. It's a lot of what they call them Monday morning quarterbacks. But we've had to play a way that we played all season long, and we're going to try to play that way Game 6.
Dave in the center.
Chris, there's an inherent pressure that comes with an elimination game in the NBA Finals, of course. But is there any excitement for someone like yourself who spent literally your entire life trying to conquer the game of basketball, master it, tinker with it? This is the ultimate level.
It's definitely exciting. Something that coach and everybody been saying, if you went to the beginning of the season and said we had a chance to be where we are right now, would you take it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we get a chance to determine the outcome. It's not like the game is going to be simulated or somebody else got to play. We get a chance. We control our own destiny. So I think that's the exciting part about it. And knowing who we have in our locker room, knowing what we're capable of and all the things that we've been through all season long. So we wish we didn't have to wait as many days as we got to, but, it is what it is.
Hey, Chris. During the Nets series, PJ Tucker had kind of told me that, the times he gets the most mad is when guys would help him on KD. He wanted that one-on-one. If KD scores, but don't help. They're kind of doing something similar to Book, where they're not going to help as much. That's going to be, hey, we're going to live with this. If Book gets 40, Book gets 40. How do you try to get Book to approach that, knowing that maybe part of the reason why you're not getting as many threes is they are wanting him to be the scorer and not involve as many other people?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know their strategy. You know what I mean? I'm not in their locker room. I don't know what they got going on over there. All we can control is what we do. So we going to continue to play our game. Book is one of the best to ever do this, so we going to figure it out. Yeah.
Very good. Dwayne, Sam, and then Vince.
Chris, just going over Game 5, what do you feel like were a couple of things now that you've seen the film that's just like, Jay was just talking about breakdowns. He's like, we just can't have that. Is that what this simply comes down to, or is it something bigger than that?
Yeah, turnovers, fouls at certain times. You know, every time we sort of made a breakdown or missed an assignment, they made a shot. You know, so if we can limit the amount of mistakes that happen, look, you don't play a perfect game. Everybody would love to play a perfect game, but it's not that way. I think if we can cover up for each other and just have each other's back, and then at the end of the day, as long as we go out there and play hard and compete, we can live with that.
Sam.
Good seeing you, sir. Two for you. The other night when you and Devin are side by side and he gets asked about, are you frustrated for Chris? I mean, I can't read his mind, but the takeaway for me was that this is not about Chris. And a lot of your career has been Chris and his playoff past and this and that. And was that sort of the spirit of why that question doesn't get answered?
Book back there. I think it was kind of like a common sense thing. You know what I mean? This is like a team sport. You know, like this isn't tennis. This isn't golf. I think we all want to win, you know. So I think it was sort of self-explanatory. That's just me, though.
And I know what your answer here is going to be, but because of your reputation, if you have games where you're not up to your level, folks start saying something must be wrong. I mean, health-wise, are you straight? Are you good? Are you dealing with stuff?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. I think for us, we sort of been in a bubble. You know what I mean? Like not the NBA bubble, but as far as our team, you know, win or lose, we just stay connected with us and try to figure out what we're going to do. That's sort of what happens in a series, especially when you get to this point. So, yeah.
Vince, last one in the back.
Hey, Chris, Milwaukee has had their share of playoff heartbreaks. You know, he just mentioned, you know, your own, but your team as a whole hasn't been through this sort of playoff process, heartbreaks, knowing how to get through it. How do you bridge that gap between giving them your experience but not necessarily bombarding them with it, that it becomes overwhelming? Is there a line that you have to walk there?
No, we just in it. I think I answered that before the series. This is my first time in the finals. You know what I mean? So it ain't like, oh, we need to do this, or we need to do that. I think for us, we're in it. You know, they always talk about staying in it and staying with the group. I think for us, all of this is part of it, and we get it. But for us, it's the practices, it's the time in the hotel together, and just making sure that at the end of the day, we play basketball.
Thank you, Chris.
All right.
We'll start with Gina.
Hey, Book, just now being in this situation, what are the things that you're leaning on? What are the experiences you're trying to draw from, like when you're in a win or go home type situation?
I've never really been here before, you know, so I'm just treating it as a series, treating it as, you know, I've seen Game 6s happen in the past. There's been Game 7s that happened in the past. So just us as a team, you know, I just heard Chris say it, just figuring out, you know, a way to win our next game. You know, that's our mindset coming into here. That's been our mindset, you know, since we obviously frustrated after the loss, but wake up the next day. Now it's, you know, that loss is behind us. What can we do next?
Besides just kind of thinking about, okay, I've seen Game 6s and a series can turn. We've all seen that before. Are there people you're talking to? Are there advice you're seeking outside of the team, or is it more just keeping it in-house at this point?
Yeah, we're keeping it in-house. That's been our motto the whole entire season. You know, our group, you know, knows what's at stake. We know what's on the line. So there's no shortcutting it. We're in it right now, and we have to figure it out and we have to get it done.
Sam?
Devin, the outside looking in, I think when a team goes up 2-0 in the finals, drops 3 games, there's this assumption that that's about as demoralizing as it could be. But then Monty just talked a moment ago about, what he's seeing behind the scenes, and that in terms of the spirit, whether it's meals together and the time you guys are spending on the plane, that he really liked what he saw. Do you agree? And just what does that say about your guys' ability to keep your heads in a good place?
It says a lot about this group. Like I said, obviously we were frustrated after the loss, but we're a type team that realize, that's over. Whatever we do forward is going to determine whatever our future is going to be. So we're going to go out here today. We haven't watched film as a team yet together on the game. So I think that's step one for us in preparing and coming up with the scheme to go out there tomorrow.
Dwayne in the front right.
Devin, we've talked about you waiting to play in this situation, and now you're in a situation that guys you watched have been in and have found a way to get that kind of win. Do you draw from that at all? Like, okay, I've seen guys do this, I can do the same, or we can do the same as a group?
Not really. We just have our group. It's kind of hard to, compare and contrast what LeBron did in the finals in whatever year. You know what I'm saying? So, we have a group that's us, and that's how we keep it. So we're trying to figure it out right now, how we're going to go out there and do it. And we know it's possible with, the group that we have and what we've leaned on for most of the season.
Quick follow. Coach has always had the right thing to say to you guys all year. What's that been like to have a coach that's so dialed into you that once he starts talking, you're like, okay, I know exactly what he's trying to get to us?
It keeps the energy right. There's no second guessing what coach says. He has the best interests, and he's right. So we listen to him. He's somebody that we've leaned on through this whole season for our locker room, for how we perform on the court, for what he just mentioned, how we, get together as a group very, very often. So we have a tight-knit group.
Over here on the left, third row.
In the first 2 games of the series, which you won, you were taking almost 43 pointers a game as a team. Over the last 3 losses, that number's been a lot lower. What are you seeing from the Bucks defense that have kind of limited those opportunities, and do you think you need more of them in Game 6?
Yeah, I think with the team and the capabilities of the shooters that we have on this team that, we need to generate more threes. Obviously, they're switching a lot and staying home on shooters. So, there's just a way of figuring it out, putting pressure, causing gravity to open up opportunities, easier opportunities for everybody on this team because, we have a lot of really good shooters on this team.
Steve on your right.
Hi, Devin. When the series shifted here for Game 3, Jay Crowder talked about using his Milwaukee roots to get food catered in, keeping you guys close, not sending it out into the night where you'd have to interact too much. What has the road experience been like in this series for you guys? Has it been helpful even in terms of that, keeping the circle tight, or is it just different?
We've pretty much been doing this the whole season of, not leaving the hotels and being close to each other. So, it's pretty similar to what we've experienced for most of the season.
Eric, over here.
Hey, Devin. The Bucks kind of did these same things against the Nets and Kevin Durant, where it was a lot of switches, a lot of one-on-one, and then him scoring a whole lot of points. You're doing the same thing. You're scoring a whole lot of points. You mentioned in response to his question about trying to get other people involved. How do you try to strike that balance? I know maybe it's difficult when you are having as much success as you are.
Just take what the defense gives you. Just read what's going on and, try to make the right play. I think, the last 3 games that we've dropped, we've been in position or had opportunities to win the game. So just taking advantage of, whatever our best available shot is or our best available stop is for that possession and doing that.
Mark in the third row on the right.
Hey, Devin, I know you mentioned time and time again your focus on the finals here, but what's it been like going up against Chris and Drew, knowing that next week you guys are going to be, Team USA teammates?
A lot of fun. Only basketball that, I've been wanting to play for a really long time. So, I'm having a lot of fun with it, competing at the highest level, that basketball has known. So this is a great experience. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Brian here in the front.
I would guess, for any great player, after something like Game 3 where you lose and you struggled, it's easy to say, okay, I have to be better in next game. You've been very better the last 2 games and you haven't won. What is your mindset for what you're supposed to do going into Game 6 now?
Be better, as a whole collective group. We all know, like I said earlier, what's at stake and what's on the line. So, everybody's going to have to give a little bit more because what we've done hasn't been enough.
Vince in the back.
Hey, Book, you just mentioned how much fun this is being at the finals when, especially not having made the playoffs, and you're getting buckets, you're scoring big. I'm just curious, when you're the only person that has it going, what's that mindset like? Is it, let me get Mikal a shot or Chris a shot, or is it, I got the matchup, this is what I do? Is it a balance between it, or just what is it like in the moment when you're the only one that has it going and the lead is getting bigger or the lead is shrinking, or, when you're in that moment?
Just trying to get the best available shot down. I'm gonna keep saying that. Like that's what our offense tries to do, whether it's a open shot for somebody else or a mismatch we feel DeAndre has with a smaller opponent, or if it's somebody that I feel, couldn't guard me that possession or whatever it is. It's just trying to get the best available shot for our team that possession.
Dave in the middle.
Devin, in covering these playoffs, it's clear that winning is what matters to you, not the numbers. But having put up back-to-back 40-point games against this team, against this vaunted defense, what does that do for you in terms of the confidence of knowing that this challenge ahead of you, you're equipped to complete it?
That's a tough question because we didn't win those games, and that's the only objective there is out there. So back to just gonna have to do more. Whether it's a stop, make a play for somebody else, take a charge, get a 50-50 ball, stop offensive rebound. We know the steps, we know the possessions that have hurt us throughout this playoffs, and we understand the details. It's well communicated throughout our team. So, just being on it, being ready to go, but still enjoying the moment, having fun with it.
Tim up front.
Everybody knows, Devin, the history you had here before Monty showed up. And when he came in here before, he said that when he got here, you had no reason to trust him because you just hadn't been around him yet. And I was curious, over the past couple of years, how has that relationship evolved to the point where, like you said when Dwayne asked you before, that you just know he's right when you're talking to him?
You said, how has it evolved?
Yeah, just how,
going through experiences
Yeah.
together. Like you said, just spending time together. That's the only way I feel you can develop real trust in time is going through experiences and having conversations with people. And, Monty has made a point to do that since the day he's gotten here. So, all of us trust him. We all trust each other. And, it's a culture and it's an environment that's fun to be around. And, it's why we've had some of the success that we've had this year.
Steve in the back.
You talked about how fun it is competing with Drew and Chris before you all leave for Tokyo. I'm just wondering what that dynamic's going to be like. How tough is it to kind of be teammates with a couple of guys immediately after you've competed with them, against them, with so much at stake?
Say just understanding competition, and that it's never personal, between who you're going with, unless, lines are crossed, and, those guys, aren't that type, and I would never go that way with them because there's a high respect level for each other. And, I think that's why we're in the position that we're in right now. And, representing your country is a whole different dynamic than competing against each other in, the NBA Finals. But, I can always respect somebody that competes at the highest level.
Palmer to you on Zoom.
Go to Catherine Fitzgerald with the Arizona Republic.
Hey, Buck. You talked a lot at the last few weeks about trying to learn more about the Suns' past, to honor those former teams. And I know you guys, this team, you want to win for yourselves, of course, and that's a little separate. But when you look back at kind of that history, how has that informed, what you're going through right now and how meaningful this all is?
I mean, this I always say it's a basketball town. This organization loves the city. Loves the Phoenix Suns, and it comes with that rich history. People have generated memories that are going to last them a lifetime, and I think that's the beauty of sport and whole. You can get behind something, rally behind it, and this city has been wanting an NBA championship for a really long time. And has been really close multiple times. So, just understanding that and understanding what's at stake, and this city means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.